In this video, I am going to subtract a rational expression from another. In this case, 1 over 2 times x minus 7 is being subtracted from 4 over x square minus 10x plus 21. Subtracting a rational expression from another is like subtracting a fraction from another. You have to make sure that the denominators are the same. That means you have to find the LCD of the denominators. So in this case, we are going to exactly do the same thing. 2 times x minus 7, we can't simplify it anymore. It's just in the format that we want as a product of two factors. However, this denominator x square minus 10x plus 21 is something we could factor, by the way. So let's factor it out. So x square, negative 10x, I could write it as negative 3x minus 7x, then plus 21. Between the first two, I could factor out x. That's going to give me x minus 3. Between the second two, I could factor out negative 7. That's going to give me x minus 3. Now note that x minus 3 is common, so I could factor it out further, which is going to be x minus 3. Now if I factor out x minus 3 from the first term, I am left with x, and from the second one, I am left with negative 7. So this is equal to x minus 3 times x minus 7. So now I am going to rewrite this. So it's going to be 4 over x minus 3 times x minus 7 minus 1 over 2 times x minus 7. Now the LCD of these denominators, by the way, is going to be 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7. Why? Look, x minus 7 appears here once here, so we need to put x minus 7 once, and x minus 3 appears here but not here, so we put x minus 3 once, and then the 2 is here but there is no 2 here, so but we still need to put the 2. Now we have to make sure that the denominators are the same. That means denominators of the LCD. So to do so, I multiply this by 2 and divide this by 2. Now I have the LCD in the denominator right here. However, here I need to multiply by x minus 3 and divide by x minus 3 to have the LCD in the denominator here. Now I can combine the fraction, two rational expressions. 4 times 2 is 8. So it's going to be 8 over 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7. Then minus x minus 3, remember it's inside the parenthesis, divided by 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7. Now I have the same denominator, so like I'm comparing apples to apples, so I could write it as a single term, 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7, then 8. Now minus here, so pay attention to this, okay? I'm going to use a different color to emphasize this fact. Minus here has to be distributed. It's like negative 1 in front. So negative 1 times x is negative x, and negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. Now your final answer is going to be negative x plus 11, because 8 plus 3 is 11, divided by 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7. So if you subtract this term from this term, your final answer is going to be negative x plus 11 over 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 7. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.